Most people misunderstand silence. They think it's empty. They think it's weakness. They think it means nothing is happening. But some of the most intense minds on Earth are completely silent on the surface. Today, we're exploring one of the rarest and most misunderstood personality archetypes, the Sigma INFJ. Not loud, not dominant, not submissive, quietly powerful, independent, unreadable. If you've ever felt like you don't belong to hierarchies, if solitude feels more alive than crowds, if people describe you as calm yet somehow intimidating, this may explain more than you expect. The INFJ personality type already represents only about 1 to 2% of the population. But the Sigma INFJ is even rarer. It isn't an official Myers-Briggs category, it's an emergent archetype, a convergence of deep intuition, emotional intelligence, and an extreme form of independence. The Sigma INFJ does not ask, "Where do I fit?" They ask, "What's real?" They don't isolate to escape life. They isolate to go deeper into it. Solitude for them is not absence. It is immersion. Sigma INFJs are walking contradictions. They can be warm and distant, empathetic, yet unavailable, social, yet psychologically unreachable. They might stand in a room full of people and still feel as though they're observing from the outside. Not disconnected, just separate. They don't chase connection. Connection finds them. And when it does, it isn't casual. It's felt. People don't simply meet a Sigma INFJ. They experience them. There's something naturally magnetic about them, not because they perform, not because they seek attention, but because they don't. They don't posture. They don't compete. They don't ask to be validated. Their energy is unfiltered. Their presence is authentic. They don't flood a room with noise. They change the atmosphere quietly, and that unsettles people who rely on masks. Sigma INFJs often appear calm, reserved, quiet, even invisible. But that stillness is not passivity. It is assessment. While others speak to be seen, the Sigma INFJ listens to understand. They are reading emotional undercurrents, tracking inconsistencies, noticing what doesn't add up. Silence for them is active. And when they finally speak, their words carry weight, sometimes enough weight, to make people uncomfortable. Because when a Sigma INFJ speaks, they tend to cut straight through the noise and land at the core. They don't waste energy on gossip. They don't indulge in shallow conversation. They don't participate in social theater. They want meaning. They want truth. They want to explore the depths of your mind, not your social persona. If something feels fake, they disengage. If someone feels treacherous, they disappear. No drama, no confrontation, just absence. To some, this feels cold, but it isn't. It's precision. Solitude is essential to a Sigma INFJ. Not because they dislike people, but because their inner world is vast, rich, vivid, emotionally alive, often more stimulating than any external environment. In solitude, they recharge, they reflect, they integrate, they process emotions, patterns, and futures. Time is sacred to them. Energy is finite. They protect both fiercely. Despite appearances, Sigma INFJs care deeply about connection. They simply refuse to dilute it. They don't collect friends, they measure depth. They allow very few people into their inner world. But if you are allowed in, the bond is intense, loyal, lasting. Their conversations are raw, honest, often unforgettable. They don't want many connections, they want real ones. Sigma INFJs are not afraid of darkness. They lean into heavy topics, emotional complexity, human brokenness. They do not sugarcoat reality. And because of this, their compassion carries weight. They see beauty where others see flaws. They see humanity where others see damage. They believe truth, even when painful, is a form of love. Hope, for them, is not naive. It is forged. Not every INFJ becomes a Sigma INFJ. So what creates one? Often it is experience, repeated emotional betrayal, chronic misunderstanding, attempts at control or manipulation. Many Sigma INFJs grew up in environments that forced early emotional maturity. Some experienced brutal childhoods, unstable homes and emotional neglect, or environments where vulnerability was unsafe. They learned self-reliance early. They learn to regulate themselves because no one else would. Over time, they stopped trusting systems. They stopped trusting labels. They trusted their own judgment. The Sigma INFJ retains the deep empathy of the INFJ core, but adds something else. Radical independence, that they care deeply, but operate entirely on their own terms. They value harmony and peace, yet will walk away without hesitation. If those values are violated, they do not seek to dominate others, but they are not weak. They are dangerously agentic. They see manipulation instantly. They resist control instinctively, and if pushed too far, they become unreachable. They can forgive, but they do not forget. To others, Sigma YNFJS can be unsettling. And they don't fit boxes and they don't follow scripts. They don't play mind games. They reject being labeled, which can deeply unsettle people who rely on labels to feel secure. Their advice can be disturbingly accurate, not because they predict, but because they observe. They see motives, they see patterns, they see trajectories, often before anyone else does. Sigma INFJs do not lead from the front. They influence quietly. Their presence lingers, their words echo, their absence is felt. They do not need attention, they leave imprints. They are calm on the surface and with an inner intensity few ever see, quiet and observant, deeply aware. They are not here to be understood by everyone. They are here to live truthfully, to protect their inner world, to honor their independence, to connect deeply or not at all. If this resonated with you, you are not broken. They are not cold. They are not antisocial. They are wired for depth, and depth was never meant for the crowd.